Welcome back to the Elegant Oxford review series, where I unbox, review, and recommend brands I think are worth your consideration. Today we're checking out Cobbler Union, which is a brand I've been very excited to check out, and I know a lot of you have as well. We're looking at three distinctive yet beautiful styles in their own right, each with their own take on classic staples that update our favorites in ways I really appreciate. Let's get started on the review so we can check them out. Alright. Let's start with the review. Before I begin, I just want to let everyone know, because I know a lot of you have asked already, as with all my reviews, I've not been paid for this video nor asked for a positive review. If a company decides to send me shoes to look at, it's always stipulated beforehand that I will only accept the shoes if I'm allowed to speak my mind, so that's just an FYI for those who've been wondering about it. These are actually my honest thoughts, and every episode in the review series has been as honest as I can be, and I stand behind every word I've said so far. Additionally, I have actually paid for some of the shoes I reviewed as well, in case anyone was wondering about that too. Okay, with that out of the way, here's the review. Now let's start with the box. It's a brown cardboard box with the Cobbler Union logo on it, and the info for the shoe right here. So pretty much a standard box, but it's a slide-out design, which are some of my favorite. Oh, okay. There's a little card here. I bent it opening the box. That's not Cobbler Union's fault. Great info. Love seeing that. Always makes everything easier in case you want a return, and it's always nice to see a thank you note. Alright. As always, and I know I've mentioned this in about every review series I've done so far, but I love when companies include two separate shoe bags. I don't like one shoe bag. That's never been my favorite. So I'm pretty happy with this. These are nice blue velvet felt type bags with the logo on it. Looks pretty good. Happy to see that. Wow. This is a pretty beautiful shoe. Let's get some good light on there. It's in Cognac Museum Calf, and this is a Balmoral Oxford called the Robert, and if you know anything about me, I really like that name because that's my dad's name. That's my brother's name, and that is my nephew's name, so it's a name that runs in my family. Let's get the other shoe out and take a look. Very nice. So this is the first pair we're looking at, the Robert, and we have two more, so let's look at those as well. Let's look at the Winston. Okay, so far so good. Wow. Now this is definitely a unique shoe, but I really like it. Beautiful color. Really reminds me of the Florsheim Imperial Golden Harvest, which is just a rare color. So I really love this mustard yellow. Definitely a beautiful and unique shade. Everything looks really great. Now let's get to the last and final pair. Now the box was pretty large, so I'm going to skip that and just pull them right out. Here we go. Now this is an absolutely stunning boot. I'm really surprised and blown away by it, to be honest. Really sturdy in the hand. Looks fantastic. The George is really beautiful. Love the pebble grain leather. Let's get some more light here so you can see everything a little bit better. Now, unlike most videos where I do voiceovers, collect my thoughts and write it all down, this review series I'm going to be doing here in person. I'm going to be giving you my thoughts in real time, and hopefully you like this format a little bit better. I feel like I'm more comfortable here just talking about what I think, and hopefully you like it as well. So let me know in the comment section what you think about it. I'm going to be starting off with the Robert, and then we'll get to these others in a minute. Now I know I've mentioned this before, but one of the reasons I really like the Robert is because it's a Balmoral Oxford, and for those who don't know, a Balmoral must have this seam right here that goes along the side of the shoe that separates the lower from the upper, and when they're boots, the shaft begins right here, but it's just a really elegant design. It's classic, it's beautiful, has a great line here that really just gives the shoe an added flair. So really happy to see that. I don't have many Balmoral shoes, Balmoral Oxford, so I'm pretty happy to see this. Another fantastic element I love is the Swan Neck. Here it is right there. It looks like a swan's neck, so I guess that's why it's called that. It's a really elegant design. It's really simple, but whenever I see it on a pair of shoes, it just makes me really happy. Kind of a throwback to the old Johnson Murphy days back in the golden era. But it's just a really stunning choice. I absolutely love the Cognac Museum calf. Now, back in the day, I really wasn't a big fan of museum calf, but in the last couple of months, I really caught my eye. I've really come to appreciate the depth and this marbling effect, this museum effect, just looks so stunning. And I don't have a pair in this exact color, so I'm really happy. It's more subtle than most, but the reds and the browns really come together quite beautifully. I'm going to be honest, when my wife saw the shoe, she was like, that's really beautiful, it's really stunning. And I couldn't disagree with her at all. Really fantastic. Really, really love the color. It just looks really regal and warm and rich, like mahogany. Super beautiful. Love it. So the Robert is built on the 888 last, which is a soft, squared, chiseled toe, which I really quite like. Sometimes when it's just too round, too bulbous, it looks too stubby and short. And this is something new to me as well. I used to like rounder toes. As I've matured more, I kind of like these long, squared off, chiseled toes. Really looks beautiful. This is a 5 Eyelet Oxford. Of course, if you know me, I prefer 6, which is totally fine. It's just arbitrary. It's just one of those things that I absolutely love. But one of my favorite things is the design choice. You see the first eyelet is pretty long and it gets shorter as it goes up to the top. Kind of gives it this illusion of slimness, like it's going up in a kind of a pyramid shape. And that is one of my favorite things to see. It always looks really, really beautiful when they're on your feet. And the throat is really close together, so there's no V-gap here at all, and that's really, really awesome. Love seeing that as well. I mean, I really have to be honest, I'm looking at the shoe everywhere I can. It's just built perfectly. No scratches or discoloration anywhere, and that's harder to find than you'd think. Whenever I get a pair of shoes, there's always a little tiny blemish somewhere, but you know, try as I might, I'm looking really hard. Everything seems just so well done. The stitching is perfect. Even the calf feels really smooth to the touch and just really nice. So I'm really happy to see that. Everything looks really, really great. And it's the small details that really matter. So, happy to see that as well. I'll be honest, I didn't think much of Cobbler Union back in the day. I don't know why. But I was visiting John Farrington at Tim's Shoe Repair, and he actually had a pair. It was this exact model, but in a tan light brown color, and he let me handle it, and I was really impressed. And this model, this color, I think looks even better. So I'm kind of sad that I kind of blew them off at the beginning. I was totally wrong. These are much better than I expected for sure. I really love flat laces. I know flat laces, you know, back in the day, sneakers have flat laces, so they really weren't considered dressy. But in the last 10 years, it's just the standard now. And I really think flat dress laces look way better than round ones. I prefer them on all my shoes, absolutely. So, kind of funny how things work out, but the high-end shoemaking that I see nowadays, everyone has flat laces and just looks super clean, super close to the body. Very nice. All right, let's head down to probably my favorite test. All right, we have a really good 8 stitches per inch on the welt, which is fantastic, really is. Happy to see that type of work. I know some companies at around this price point only offer 4, and I know functionally, I mentioned this before, I know functionally and objectively it doesn't make a difference. I mean, the shoes will last as long as each other, but when I see this type of fine shoemaking, it makes me happy, and I want to preserve that. I want to support brands that really focus on the essentials, on the fine art of shoemaking, and stitch density is surely one of them, so I'm really happy to see that as well. Let's go down to the edges here. Everything's really clean and beautiful. Really smooth. It really looks nice. Happy to see that. Now the weld fudging is definitely there. It's not as stark or as deep as I'd like, but it is there. So I'm happy to see that as well. Everything looks clean. Very nice. Man, I really, really like this color. The more I look at it, the more I think it looks like regal wood. I really can't explain it, but it looks really quite beautiful. Alright, let's head down to the sole of the shoe. Everything looks great. Really solid craftsmanship here. Closed channel stitching. And it really looks clean. Really fantastic work. The Robert does not have a beveled waist, but Cobbler Union does sell other models, many models with really deep beveled waists if that's what you like. I know that's what I like, but this one doesn't. No points taken off or anything like that. It's just a different style. Everything looks really solid. Very nice work. Definitely no complaints. I know it's probably harder to see, but I just kind of want to show off how clean everything is, including the insole, which is this really soft, padded cushion material. Really fantastic. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with how this shoe came out. Everything about it, it's quite simple in many ways, but when you look at it deeply, when you actually kind of take a look and examine the shoe, you realize how, in its simplicity, it also has a lot of robust charm. I really don't know how else to say it. It's really a charming shoe. The color is warm. It's not too flashy, right? But it has this flair about it for those who know what shoes are. It really is a beautiful shoe. I think this is a shoe that my dad would love, that pretty much anyone's going to like, no matter how fashion forward or how conservative or how flashy you are as a dresser. So definitely a shoe that I really do like. So happy to see this one. Now let's move over to the Winston. All right. The Winston, although it's also an Oxford like the Robert, is a completely different beast, if I can use that phrase. The color is this really stunning mustard calf. Now, I'm sure in the video it looks pretty yellow, pretty comical, but in real life it's really a deep kind of a golden with some orange tones in here. So it's not really as bright as you might think it is in real life. It's definitely more appropriate for a dress shoe, and it doesn't look yellow like a cartoonish yellow. It's really a deep, mature yellow, nice mustard color. The shoe is built in Vigano calf, which, as you may know, Vigano is a little bit more casual. It doesn't shine as easily from my experience, but it's still very great leather. It's soft and very great, nice to the touch. I'm really happy to report, as I'm looking over the shoe, just in general, everything looks well made. All the stitching is perfect. The style's just fine. Nothing out of shape. No loose grain. Really well made shoe. Really happy to see that everything's just fine. It definitely is a wider, chunkier style. I guess it's on the opposite end of the spectrum from the Robert. The Winston is definitely more casual. Even the color itself definitely denotes a more casual look. But everything about it is just really well made. I know I already mentioned this, but this color is really similar to the Golden Harvest from the vintage Florsheim Imperials that are super popular today. Everyone's really after them. They're a unique shade, and I guess they can be kind of hard to wear, but you can wear something like this window pane, houndstooth design you see back here. That would totally be appropriate. Some light colored jeans. Light gray is another great color. I would avoid the very dark shades like navy blue, although some people pull it off. And olive green is another great color to match with this, but don't let the color scare you away. It's definitely a statement shoe, but I think that there's enough room in every man's wardrobe for this shade. And the good thing about it is it's so light. If you really wanted to, you could add a really unique patina. The lighter the shoe, the easier a patina is to add, and you could really do whatever you want with the shoe. So it's really great all around, and starting to grow on me if I'm being completely honest. Now here's another great style element that I like on this particular model. If you look at this piece of leather that's raised up here, that's obviously a storm welt. Keeps the shoe a little bit more waterproof, but in reality, Goodyear welted shoes are already pretty waterproof. It's a really good design choice. It gives the shoe a full-bodied look, and especially on these girthier, wider, chunkier styles, it's a really great addition. Gives the shoe a really powerful, vigorous look, and I really do quite like it. Goes around the entire shoe, and it just really looks cool. So glad that's in there. Now the shoes do feature 6 stitches per inch, which is less than the Robert, but that's totally fine. I'd expect that on a more casual shoe, and it doesn't have welt fudging at all either. But that's probably acceptable for this type of a design. Now if you look at the edges, everything's nice and smooth, no problems there. And when we go down to the sole, you'll see that these shoes are built on Day-Night, which I quite like and I'm expecting on these type of models. Now Day-Night really turns the shoe into an all-terrain vehicle, meaning you can really wear it anywhere, outside, on the street, when it's raining. And to be honest, I did not like Day-Night when I first came across it, but it's really grown on me in the last couple of years, and now I have a lot of pairs with it, and it's really quite nice. If you don't own Day-Night yet, give it a shot. I promise you'll like it. You may not like it more than leather soles, but you'll know that it has its place. I really think the best part about Day-Night is that it's so inconspicuous. It's really friendly. You can really wear it out and not attract attention to yourself. Not that that's a bad thing, but I think when you have a leathered soled shoe and you walk around, it makes that famous loud clacking sound, which is really cool when you have a suit on, but sometimes you just want to wear out a casual shoe and not really make any noise. So Day-Night is really perfect for that, and it's really high quality stuff. It lasts longer for the most part than leather soles, and no one's really ever going to see the bottom of your shoes anyway, so no one ever really notices, but it's really great. So give it a try. It's definitely sturdy, made in England. Some people call them golf-looking shoes, but you really can't see the bottom, and a lot of companies have, followed suit and made their own version of it. So Day-Night definitely set a precedent for this type of a style, and I'm really glad they did because it's fantastic. I'd say just like the Robert, the Winston is really well built. Even the interior lining, the insole, all the same, really great stuff. I actually like this burgundy color inside. It is kind of flashy, but I do really like it. I think if you found anything to complain about, it would not be objective, it would be subjective stuff like, I don't like wingtips, I don't like the color, I don't like Day-Night, but it really is a well-built shoe, and I think there's no denying that. So, really happy to check this one out. All right, and just to compare the Robert with the Winston, here they are side by side. They're obviously completely different styles. The only thing they have in common is that they're both Oxfords, but I kind of wanted to show the importance that style makes, the importance that a really dressy and a more casual shoe can really make in dressing up, dressing down. So glad you could see how both of them look side to side. And you really just can't pick one since they're so different and they serve different purposes. There's definitely room for both of them in your wardrobe. Now the Winston is built on the 312 last, which as you can see, we've already explained, a little shorter, a little rounder, a little chunkier, more robust, fuller bodied. Not a bad thing at all. It's just that this is the style it's built on, and it's really appropriate for the casual wingtip that you can take out anywhere. So really happy to see it. It's not as wide as you'd think. I think the Storm Welt and the Day-Night really make it look slightly chunkier than it actually is, but it's still fantastic. So definitely a good last. All right, last but definitely and absolutely not least is the George boot, which I'll be honest, when I pulled this out of the box, I didn't think much of it. But as time has gone on, I've really fallen in love with this boot. It's quickly become my favorite of the three, and I just really can't say enough good things about it. It's fantastic. Now, obviously, this isn't a formal boot. It's not an Oxford or a Balmoral boot. It's based off World War II. It's more of a jumper boot, but it's still quite regal in its own regard. It really rides the fine line between elegant and bad boy at all the same time. I've said that before, but this boot really captures that quite well. Now, unlike the Winston and the Robert, the George makes its statement in this beautiful pebbled grain leather. Now, I've never been a big fan because it's just harder to shine, and you know I'm at the Elegant Oxford, I'm all about mirror shines, but the texture isn't really in your face, but it gives the shoe a rugged appearance, which is really just meshes well with this military jumper boot style. It really is really great. I'm glad they included that. I really wouldn't choose anything else. It's not football or basketball or anything like that, but it really has that really great feel. The texture just feels great in the hand. The George features 5 eyelets and 4 brass speed hooks, which really help tightening the boot. Well, for those who wear boots pretty often, you'll know how helpful speed hooks are in getting the laces on and off. They really help you to tighten it once you get to the upper here. Because trust me, once you have a lot of speed hooks, you can get a lot of loosening down here and not enough tightness up here. This kind of just helps the process, so it's streamlined and easy to do. Another thing I really like about the George is that it features a pull tab that just really helps you get the boot on. I'm telling you, if a boot doesn't have the pull tab, it is a nightmare, or it can be a nightmare to get on and off. So these small details really just help the overall function of the boot, and I really think it helps overall just to make it a more pleasurable experience. Now here's another design feature I quite like. Here's another storm welt just like the Winston, except this one's unique because it has these saw-like edges called pinking that go all the way around the shoe, which gives the boot another added element of ruggedness and hardcoreness. It really goes great with the pebbled grain and the jumper boot look overall. So really unique flair. I've actually never seen this before, and it looks really cool. So really do like it. Glad they included it. And like the Winston, the George also features day-night, which I'm pretty happy to see whenever I have a boot. I just like day-night overall, unless they're an Oxford boot or a Balmoral boot that's pretty dressy. But overall, in open lacing system boots, I do like day-night. It just helps, as I've mentioned already, take it to the next level where you can walk pretty much anywhere. I don't like getting my leather soles wet. When that happens, I find that they wear out prematurely, they get soft. So day-night's actually a really good idea overall, and I'm happy to see it here. Everything's constructed quite well. No problem areas, no misaligned stitches. Looks really great. Took off the laces so we can look inside and see what this shoe's hiding. I wish you could feel the inner lining of this boot. It's just incredibly soft and supple. And the tongue is held together by these 2 flaps here, which are equally soft, equally supple, equally, I mean, it feels incredibly comfortable just to touch. I can't imagine what this feels like on your foot. And everything inside is just well built. Really happy to see it. Same insole. I know you can't really see it from this angle, but the same type of comfortable insole. In fact, let me take this piece of paper out. And really fantastic work. Really feels like, I mean, I know it's not, but it feels like kid skin. It's just so incredibly soft and malleable. Really great. This boot is just waiting to be styled in different ways, and I'm glad I have it. I really probably never would have gone off and bought this boot, but now that I have it, I really can't imagine having to give it back or not having it. It's one of these surprising, beautiful boots that I just never expected to like. But the more I look at it, this is definitely my favorite of the 3. There's no doubt about it now. The more I look at it, the more I'm just falling in love with it. I love the color and I love the texture. It's this really supple, yet kind of sensual. I know that's kind of weird to say, but it really does everything just right. I think if you're watching, you'll probably agree. It really does the right job, and it really fills in a lot of places that I needed. You know what? I didn't even notice, but the more casual the shoe, the lighter, and then as it gets more formal, you get a little bit of a darker shade. Totally didn't even pay attention to that, which goes to show how much I actually pay attention to the small details. So let's get these shined up, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on them. I'm really pleased with how these turned out. The mirror shine juxtaposes perfectly against the museum calf, bringing it all together in a way that really catches the eye. The Robert is an elegant Balmoral Oxford. It's well suited for any sartorial job you can think of aside from the most formal of occasions. It's a mature and serious Oxford, built in a warm and welcoming color, which really comes together to present a shoe that's regal, but doesn't take itself too seriously, which in my opinion is exactly what's needed today. This no-nonsense design is really there to accentuate everything else you're wearing, while simultaneously reminding those who see the Robert that it's there to make a statement as well. You really can't go wrong with this shoe, and I wish more companies would offer this particular style in favor of more radical designs. It's still very possible to update what we're familiar with to improve upon it, while also honoring what came before. The old adage is true, I guess. It's hard to beat the classics. The George was definitely the MVP of this video and is without a doubt my favorite style here today. It's funny because I didn't particularly love it when I unboxed it, but as the days went on I started to fall in love with it as I got to know it better. It's funny how art imitates life sometimes. The style, the pebbled grain leather, and the color all come together meticulously into a boot that I can't keep my eyes off of or my feet from wearing. Style them with olive green for a tasteful and appropriate look pretty much anywhere you'd wear boots to. You can wear the George with jeans and chinos and certain slacks if you're brave enough, but I don't think it's a stretch to imagine even wearing them in the winter with a wool suit for those cold climates. I love how they're designed in homage to World War II jumper boots, which are sturdy and rugged, but also aesthetically pleasing to look at. My initial suspicions were right. This boot is incredibly comfortable right out of the box, and I had no trouble wearing them for hours as I thought about them and filmed the review. I'm really trying not to be theatrical here, but I can say without a doubt this is one boot I can't live without. Now, the Winston remains near and dear to my heart because of how bold and unique it is. For those who can appreciate this ostentatious yet charming wingtip, you'll be well served by how sturdy and robust it is for use all year round. I'm going to be adding a patina to these, but I'd like to let you all decide what that will be. In the comment section, make sure to let me know what color you'd like me to consider for the transformation in a future video. I'm thinking an emerald green, but I'm really open to
there's
hear what
absolutely
you guys have to
nothing
say,
wrong
so
with
let
this
me know
mature
down
golden
below.
mustard color.
I absolutely love it, and I'll be honest, somewhere in my heart it kind of pains me that we're going to change it. But there's nothing wrong with the shoe as it is now. I really wish more companies offered something in this color. More people should try it, because it can really bring out some exciting combinations in your dress. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I know this was the longest review I've ever done, and I really hope you enjoyed it. You can always visit cobblerunion.com to check out the other styles that they have, some of which are really amazing, including Spectators, which I know a lot of you love. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to comment down below what color you'd like me to see me transform the Winston into, so let me know down below. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.